a good time.
Good time.
Good time.
I've just pressed record, so we're just
That's the best way, because like you always do this, and I'm like, yeah, that's probably the best, because then I'm not aware.
I don't like the idea of like stealthing anyone with it though, and just like talking for ages and then just being like, by the way, you were recorded.
Stealth away.
No. Welcome to the first official episode of MitPod. You may have heard our pilot, but this is us for real. We are the Manchester Indie Theatre Podcast, or MitPod. I'm Caroline Lamb, and oh my god, I cannot talk today. I'm Caroline Lamb, and I am here with
Amelia Slater.
And we also have a very special guest, our very first special guest, Bronte Appleby. Woo! Hi, Bronte.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. We're really, really excited to chat to you. Now I'm so disorganised. I've put things on a WhatsApp chat and I cannot find...
Are we looking for this?
I always do.
Oh,
this.
Look at you.
You're so prepared.
So prepared.
I'm here with my laptop and my notes.
Yeah, we're tech queens, apparently.
Yeah, so Bronte Appleby, who is she?
Who is she?
Who is she?
Where did she find her?
Bronte is a writer, producer, actor and facilitator. She trained at Mount View Academy of Theatre Arts and the National Youth Theatre of Great Britain in acting. She has worked with a number of established theatre and arts organisations, both in the UK and internationally. These include Contact, National Trust, Sick Festival, Boundless Theatre, BBC Radio, the Lowry, Vault Festival and Bakehouse Factory.
Whew, that's a lot.
She has won an Offie commendation for her work with Switch Manchester. Her most recent play, Have a Break, Have a KitKat, received funding from Arts Council England to assist its development in 2022 and received critical acclaim during its run at 53.2 in 2023. She appeared in the film The Regulars in 2025, which received 4 stars from The Guardian, and in 2026 established Hop, Skip and a Jump, a creative venture to produce exciting collaborative work across different mediums.
Yes! I'm really excited to talk about the new theatre company, because that's big, that's exciting.
It's exciting. I know you told me to write something and give it to you, but when I was hearing that back, I was like, oh.
She's done so much. We want it all. We want to share everything. It's great. It's great.
I get the bio cringe though. Like, I hate bios. I hate writing them and hearing them back, and I'm like, ugh. Yeah.
It's hard to talk about yourself.
It is.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's difficult because like you need a good bio because you do have to sum yourself up, especially when like you're a jack of all trades.
Yeah,
absolutely.
As we all are, but
wearing many hats,
wearing all the hats in the world. You're basically a hat shop.
You own every hat.
But it's actually pretty cool to like hear it back and be like, oh, I did do that, and then also, oh, I did do that.
But no, it's the nature of it, you know, and the fact that you've got so many fingers in so many pies. And obviously recently we worked together on Make It, which was great fun.
That was wonderful, wasn't it?
Absolutely fantastic producer, honestly. Prepared to be referred everywhere because he was so I could not have done that without you. That was absolutely wild.
Just pure flattery for an hour. Yeah. This is wonderful. I'll take it.
That's what this is about. That's what we're here for, really. It's just a thinly veiled attempt to just like
hype everybody up.
We're
just everyone. Like, that's what we want to be. We want to be the hype.
You are the best hype women, and thank you so much for having me. And it's so wonderful that you've got so many people to hype up and talk about their work and what they do. Like, that's just incredible. That's so much fun.
I think before we delve a little bit further into Bronte's fantastic back catalogue and like big plans for the future, I think we should quickly go through the status quo of the Manchester indie theatre scene as it currently stands. The first event I want to talk about that's coming up is Natalie Pertuzzo's show, which is on tonight at the King's Arms. So tonight being the 17th of April. Bog Off Clowns, Natalie Pertuzzo with Ollie Yates. Natalie is previewing Every Single Sound in the World, which she'll later be bringing to various fringes, including the Manchester Fringe, the Edinburgh Fringe, and the Brighton Fringe. So
all of the fringes.
Go along. It's fantastic clowning tonight at the King's Arms if you can get yourself a ticket. Also, a good friend of mine, Ellie Webster, is coming to Manchester Central Library on Saturday the 25th of April with Taliesin. a story of magic, shape-shifting and an epic chase with puppets. So multi-talented Ellie. We will link all of these below in the description, by the way.
We also have Boys, Ella Hickson's play, which will be on at the King's Arms from the 21st of April to the 8th of May. So I'm very excited for that. And then also on the 29th of April, there is a stand-up comedy night happening at 53-2. It's called Stand Up for Gaza. So it will be a night raising funds for Gaza with all proceeds going towards life-saving essentials like food, water and clothing for displaced families. So that's on at 53-2 on the 29th.
Absolutely, and all of these events will be linked. We'll link their handles and websites down below the podcast itself, so do take a look and we'll do a little run through of those again at the end. But yeah, that is what's coming up. Bronte, do you have any recommendations of anything that you're doing or anyone you know is doing?
Exactly the same as you. I was like, oh, what about boys? You said boys.
Oh, that's the thing, isn't it?
You've got it
Everyone's
down.
talking about boys.
You've got it down.
Buzzing for that. I feel like I'm seeing everybody I know getting cast in it and I'm like, yes, go you.
It's such a strong cast.
Yeah. Also, I will say that Angry Brigade is on tour as well. So
Yes.
I saw it at 53-2.
It's going everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was incredible.
I've heard it was really good.
It was so good. I was absolutely blown away. I had no expectations walking in, and the performances, the direction, the writing was just one of the best things I've seen. So go see that if you can.
That's exciting. Yeah, that's a strong accolade. You know, I'd love to come and see it. I've not had a chance yet.
It was brilliant. The actors were just fantastic, and it was a great piece. Like, and I did speak to Tom, who was in it, and he was just saying, like, given how long they had, you know, to even put it on, like the fact that they put that together, and it's just incredible. Like, it was great. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Go and check out Angry Brigade where you can. We will link to it, and you'll be able to see exactly where it's touring right now. But yeah, so that's how things currently stand on the Manchester indie scene. But what I'm really, really excited to do now is to delve in a little bit further into Bronte and the world of Bronte at the moment. Bronte Appleby, who is here with us. So I guess the big thing right now is you've launched your brand new theatre company, Hops to Give It a Jump.
I have.
So let's hear more about that. When did you come to the decision that you were going to launch a theatre company?
Yeah, so when I was slap bang 18, I started a theatre company when I was 18, which is crazy. I can't believe I did that.
That is amazing.
That's so exciting. That's so ambitious.
There was so much that I learned, because being an 18-year-old and like producing for the first time and leading for the first time is an insane thing to do. And I learned so much and I made so many mistakes, but mistakes are so important.
This is what we were talking about this. It's an ongoing thing. It's like, this is how we grow and how we go on to do everything, isn't it, really?
Exactly. And I had a really, really great time, and then that's how I ended up like freelancing, because I made my own work and then people saw that work, and then I started freelancing for other people, which was great. And then I kind of got to a place where I was a bit burnt out from freelancing, and I was like, I need to put it down, I need to have a break. So I went to go work full-time for a heritage organisation for about 2 years, and it kind of got to a place where I was like, I think I'm ready to go make something joyous. And ironically, I was actually making a trail for this heritage site that I was working at, and the trail point was called Hops, Skip and a Jump. And I thought,
so the name was born.
Yeah, and I kind of thought, what a really cool way to think about life, like doing it with a bit of flair and a bit of fun and a bit of positivity. So I left my role at that heritage site and now work at the amazing Contact Theatre 3 days a week on the Agency of Change, and also have time to freelance and kind of go down this new creative venture. And I'm being quite broad with it, because I've realised that's kind of my whole thing has been co-creation with children, young people, joy through whatever kind of form takes my fancy, really.
Yeah.
So thinking that we have a season of definitely 3 very different programmes coming up for different kind of audiences to engage with, thinking about community, about care, about play, about sustainability, and then trying to get funding for other projects and hopefully seeing if we can kind of bolster a bit of a programme from there, but also doing it in hopefully a sustainable way that doesn't lead to burnout, because I think at the start of my career it was so easy to be like, I have to do everything, and I have to do everything right now, and I have to be the best actor in the world, and I'm going to be the best producer in the world, and actually
you have very high expectations.
That's such a that's a familiar feeling to me, honestly, and I'm still doing that. So sustainability is so important.
Yeah. I think it's good to be ambitious, and it's good to have high expectations of yourself, but I feel like if you don't do it with a smile on your face, then what's the point?
Exactly. You have to have a healthy relationship with your work ultimately as well, and with yourself. And I think that I'm always so blown away by everybody who I speak to and everything that they've accomplished and what they're doing, and they've always got 5 projects on the go. But at the same time, like, you are also a human, and you have to look after yourself as well. But I agree. It's like everyone has so much ambition and so much drive and creativity. They're like, I want to do all of it.
Which is amazing. It's amazing, and it's so wonderful when you meet those creative people. But I think it's like you don't want to see those creative people just for 2 years and they leave.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you want them in your life and in your creative sphere for as long as possible, because they just bring really beautiful things to the table, and we need as many authentic and fun stories as we can in our landscape.
And there's a reason why we're not working 9-to-5 office jobs. This fun and this experimentation and this play appeals to us. But if that then becomes something that drags us down and weighs us down and makes us tired and pulls the joy out of everything, then what's the point in doing it? We might as well be sat in a grey office.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And it sounds like you're off to a really, really good start. You've already got like a programme lined up.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of people kind of go, I'm going to start a company and then I'm going to see what happens. But you've kind of done
hit the ground
legwork.
running.
You really have, yeah.
Would you like an exclusive?
Oh, yes, please. Oh my God.
You heard it here
First. Well, I think we might be announcing this a little bit later on in April or May time.
Sure.
But I can tell you the 3 things that we definitely have going on this year.
Yes,
That's
please.
Do spill the tea.
Okay, so our first project is going to be called Made It With Mates, and it's going to be a collaborative kind of cabaret night. And one thing I wanted to explore is, what does collaboration actually look like, and how does it differ from person to person? So I'm working with 6 of my mates, all from different backgrounds. They do different forms. Some of them are artists professionally, some of them just do it as a hobby. We're going to put on a night somewhere in Manchester, TBC, and kind of launching that way of, actually, this is what collaborative play looks like, and hoping to raise a bit of money for charity that way. Talking of charity, our second project is actually going to be called Pop, Skiff and a Beat, and it's a digital music series.
Cool.
Oh my God.
Where I have a team and another person has a team, and we face off every single week, and the audience has to vote who has the best song entry. So my team will bring a song, and then the other team will bring a song, and then the audience on Instagram has to vote. But they're not just voting for a song, they're also voting for a charity that we're bringing to the table.
Oh, cool.
And at the end of the kind of the competition, what song wins, that charity will win, and we'll fundraise money for them for the next coming year.
Oh, I love that. That's really
incredible.
cool. So do you think that's going to be kind of an annual thing that you potentially do to, like, then choose a charity for your next sort of programme season?
Yeah, we'll see. I think we'll see how we get on with it. I think I was really intentional thinking about, like, what does socially engaged work actually look like, and how can it be done playfully and also sustainably, because also when you're a producer you do have to think with your money hat.
Yes.
But I also want to think of, how can this help other people? So, and actually it was quite a cost-effective way to think about, how can we spread awareness and do something good? So hopefully the goal is for it to be a sustainable project that we can bring up time and time again, but we're piloting it this year and seeing how we get on. Which is very good. And the third one, which I'm really excited about, is that we're going to launch a writer's micro-commission.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be a very small micro commission, basically just giving writers time to write, and we only expect them essentially to write a page, and it could be, a poem, it could be a sketch, it could be a monologue, literally anything that takes their fancy, but it's about giving them paid time to write. And if they want my support, brilliant. If they don't, completely understand. But it's about, I think it's about trying to empower other artists and giving them the resource and time that maybe currently isn't out there.
No, absolutely, especially at that scale, especially kind of just starting. I think starting can be the hardest thing for a writer, and not having the space and the sort of the brain space to do that. I think this sounds like a really, really great thing that is definitely missing. So that's so exciting.
Facilitating that opportunity, it's an encouragement as well, I think, when you're giving someone that space to do that, and to okay, I am going to sit down, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do my thing. It's great.
Exactly, especially when there are so many barriers to entry.
Yeah.
If you think about how many barriers there are in a day, if you work a normal 9 to 5 and there are different challenges ahead of you, just finding the time and the headspace and the resource to sit down and write something that's really difficult.
Absolutely.
It really is. I mean, that is so exciting. I'm so thrilled to be following sort of your journey and following Hopskip and Joe. Well, I was so excited to see it come up on Instagram because I saw who was following it and I was like, I know who this is.
That feels familiar.
Yeah. So I'm dead chuffed to see that you're doing that, and I'm excited to see what comes out of it. But I know as well, you say you work for the agency at Contact, and I think it's an exciting time for them at the moment because they're doing all of their events. So I bet you're really proud of your cohort and what's going on.
I am. So if people have never heard of it, the agency is basically a social entrepreneurship program for 15 to 25-year-olds that was brought over to the UK from Brazil. It was kind of a creative methodology about how young people can be leaders in their community and make their own creative projects to make positive change. And it's on their 13th year in Manchester. It's been running in North Manchester by Contact for 13 years, and it's been running for 13 years in London. It now also runs in Bolton, in Chester, in Southampton, in Belfast, and they've got a hub in Mexico as well, which is very exciting. And basically, we get essentially 25 young people, and we do 10 weeks worth of workshops thinking about what their desire for change is in their community, and we do a series of like different kind of creative tasks to unlock that. And at the end of those 10 weeks, they pitch to a panel of industry professionals. It could be counsellors, it could be CEOs, it could be trustees of arts organisations, and they pitch for money to make those kind of ideas come to life. And then only 3 of those projects move forward and they get the funding to go do it. And so I'm working with 3 projects, well, technically 4 because we managed to get funding for another one, which is very exciting, that all got £2,000 to make their idea come to life, and it's honestly been one of the most thrilling, rewarding jobs I have ever done. We've got a project on knife crime, we've got a project on it's like an immersive book inspiring young people to partake in hobbies rather than antisocial behaviour. We've got one that is like a digital platform for upcycling and sustainable clothing ethically and on a budget.
That's so cool. And
then one she's doing her first kind of live event, which is she's making a girls' mental health space.
Oh, wonderful.
Which has just been wonderful, and it's been so rewarding to see them like step into their like power and their agency.
Just to be part of something that's doing so much good. And really making a real difference for people.
And it's such a bizarre project because the agents, that was what we call the participants, the agents go on such a big journey, but also we go on a journey as well with them. Because we see them change and we see how they develop. And actually, it's such a short amount of time. We started in September and the project probably ends in like May time. That's not a lot of time, but their growth and their ability to be experts in their field, and they want to change their community. It's so inspiring, and honestly, it makes me want to be a better person. It's brilliant.
That's so cool. And I think as well, the fact that there's a lot of sort of training courses that you can go on that they don't necessarily make a tangible difference monetarily, if you know what I mean. The people who are involved in those courses don't necessarily get funding to do what they want to do. They're just, it's about them learning, and that is valuable in and of itself. But the fact that they're given a budget and they are given the opportunity to do this is potentially a lasting change. They can potentially set something up that then can move forward, which is really cool.
And it's not just the money, it's just the support as well.
Of course.
So we hire 3 producers that support each of the projects, and then we also think about the power of the network is really, really, really powerful. So thinking about how can we expand their network, and the agency time and time again has just shown like it's so good at connecting young people, and then thinking about what's next. And what I like about the agency is that it doesn't put down its young people. It keeps it alive and being like, right, you've done that first time and you did get the funding, but you're still a part of this community, you're still part of this family.
That's great.
And that's really nice, because I think that's a really hard thing to do.
Especially in the creative industries, because I feel like there's a lot of, I know that the agents aren't necessarily all working in the creative industries, but I think from my perspective, it's very much like you put in for something, you don't get it, and you get an email saying, thanks for applying, we had lots of applicants, yours didn't make the cut, we don't have the capacity to give any feedback, bye. And it feels like the fact that there's that ongoing relationship is so strong, such a strong element of it.
And it's just been fabulous to be part of. I actually started as a producer on a project in 2021, and and then I've returned to be a producer, and I started in 2025. So it's been a really fun journey to see different parts of the agency, and we're really lucky because our our whole delivery team, so the people that run the sessions, were all former agents.
Oh, brilliant.
So it's like, it's in them through and through, and they know exactly what it's like to be on like the other side of the table. So.
Yeah, so when they're giving that support, you know, they've had that first-hand experience of like how, you know, the challenges that those people might be facing right there and then. I think that's amazing. Like what you were saying about that support it's so important for people, and for allowing these like projects and initiatives to actually take off, and that's amazing to be able to like facilitate those opportunities.
Yeah.
I think I know that we're talking very much about what you're doing right now, what's in the future, but it'd be great to hear, like, I know we went through your bio, but I'd love to hear a bit more about what it was like for you to go through all of those formative experiences, and a bit about your background and where it all came from. Like, when did you first decide you wanted to become a creative?
Yeah. Oh, wow. What a great question. I think I wanted to become a creative when my dad very inappropriately took me to go see Chicago at the age of 6.
Amazing.
I think he just really wanted to go see Chicago, but he was like, I've got to take the kids. And my sister was like 5 years older, so she could just about get away with it. And I think we saw Chicago and Blood Brothers on like the same weekend.
Amazing.
And I was just like in awe. I was just in awe of the storytelling, and just how like bright the lights were, and the singing, and just everything. And I remember being so engaged, and I was just like speechless.
Yeah.
And so definitely like musical theatre was always like the first intro into
like
it.
that magical first experience of like that world.
Yeah, and I have to say, I think it runs in the genes, because I think my dad has seen Les Mis like 22 times or something ridiculous
I've
like
seen
that.
it an inappropriate amount of times as well.
I do relate though. Of, like, I remember seeing like a pantomime of Beauty and the Beast in Wolverhampton when I was like 7, and I just remembered seeing it and I remembered that feeling of being absolutely mind blown by what I was seeing. I was like, what is this? Like,
who does this?
This is incredible.
Who does this?
Oh, this is a job? This is an actual job?
This is an actual job. And so I think from then on, I was kind of like, I got into British youth music theatre when I was like 15 or 16. And I love singing and I love dancing, and they are all passions of mine. And I love acting as well. But I think as I went to drama school, and I kind of did National Youth Theatre, and then I was kind of doing these jobs. And then actually you don't get employed all the time when there are other things that come along with it.
Yeah.
So I was making my own work, like writing and kind of self-producing, and then people
all the skills that come with
the skills that come with that, and then youth work, and then actually I realised that they're all really important to me. And I would get really bored if I was just acting all the time. I'd be really bored if I was just producing all the time or writing all the time.
You want to do everything.
I want to do everything. And I think maybe that feels like a little bit of like an ambitious ask, but I don't think there's anything wrong with really embracing kind of the portfolio-ness of your career.
Absolutely.
I think that, you know, having that interest and that passion for all the elements that go into putting on a piece of work, I think a lot of people can understand that. I think as performers, you love the aspect of like performing and creating the work, but then when you're going through the whole process of actually like finding the venues and like promoting the work and all the actual logistics of putting on that work, it's so useful for anyone to be able to like tap into that. So if it is something that you are interested in being like, as you do, wearing all the hats, then you know it's so impressive.
But I think as well, like, one practice informs another.
Of
so
course.
like I came to writing from acting, and I love to write things that I would love to perform in. Like, I love the idea of giving an actor a great script, but something that they can fill in the blanks in as well. It's not too prescriptive.
And you do that very well.
Oh, thank you very much.
It informs those other areas, I think, when you have that hat on and you know kind of that area.
Exactly.
It informs how you approach other disciplines, I think.
Like, I think directors should always at least do an acting class, if not actually have acted before, because then they know what they're asking of their actors as well.
I got so much better at auditioning once I started producing.
Yes, yeah.
Because I think being on the other side of the desk, I think demystified everything a little bit, because I think I was so ambitious of like, I've got to be really good and I've got to learn everything and I've got to make a really, really great impression, when actually I just needed to show up and be myself.
Yeah.
And that's all I want from, you know, someone coming in and auditioning or being in a rehearsal room. I want someone nice and kind and being themselves and kind of showing what they can do.
I think as well, like, once you've been on the other side of the audition panel, you realise that you're not necessarily looking for, like, the next Laurence Olivier or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking for, like you say, someone who's there, who's willing to be themselves, who's willing to be a bit brave with it. And if you reject them, a lot of the time it's because they, A, don't fit with someone else you've cast, or B, they didn't have the same vibe as the script might have had to you.
And it's never personal.
It's never personal.
It's never personal. And when you're an actor, it's so easy to take it personally.
It really is.
Because you want it. You want to be part of this project that you think is cool. And, you know, when you're an actor, you are your own business, aren't you? Like you are
the product.
Yeah, you are the product. So then when that product is rejected and it doesn't fit in the puzzle of that project, that does hurt more so than writing or producing, I'd argue.
Of course, because I think there's something so unique about every time you audition, you are presenting that uniqueness.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like why I think it's important, I think, understanding that it, you know, you will be right for a project. Maybe it's not that project, but what you are doing, what you're bringing is still unique and still special and still great. It's just not for that project.
But also one of the things as well that really pains me when I'm auditioning people is that a lot of people are right for the project, but they can't all have the part.
Oh, of course.
And that's one of the most frustrating things is when I get rejected for something, it's easy to take it personally, but I might have been up against 5 other people of my age, of my gender, of my build, of my style of performance. Sometimes it can almost come down to the toss of a coin, but more likely it is that you fit with the image or you fit with the vision. But so many people that I've seen for projects, they could all have done it, and they could all have done it
absolutely
perfectly, and it's terrible to send rejections for people that you know could have done it.
Yeah, because everyone's amazing. Ultimately, you know everyone who walks through the door that, oh my god, they were great. It isn't even about that. It's just there is, like you say, that you are limited in kind of what you can offer, and I think that's also an important to understand, is that it's never, oh, I did something wrong. Like that should never be the takeaway, because, you know, whatever you're bringing is going to be fantastic. It's just a tough one, but I can completely understand how that can leave you to feel.
And also, I'd apply exactly the same to different arts adjacent roles.
Yeah.
So hiring an arts organisation for like freelance roles or roles that I've recruited for in the team, exactly the same. I was once presented with like 50 CVs and cover letters, and I'm like, all these people could do this job, and they'd be absolutely amazing. So how do you even like discern and like take it apart from there? Likewise with like production roles as well. When you're a producer, so it's really, really quite like difficult, and you also, as the person choosing people, is that you want to keep those relationships up, but you don't want to like ruin any like confidence. You want to be like, you were great, just not this time.
Brilliant.
And let's keep that relationship going, because that's really, really important.
And one of the things I noticed working with you on Make It was that you were really good at, when you had like a chat with someone that was a potential collaborator, you very strongly, not like entirely, because obviously it was based on CVs and stuff, but there was like an element of going, they are on it, I really get on with them, I can see them getting on with the rest of the team. A lot of it was about the fit, which I think a lot of people kind of ignore that element and just go purely off paperwork. And I think it's so important, because as you talk about sustainability, you need to work with a team that gels really well, and I think you understand that really strongly, which is cool.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think there is also an element of understanding what's the motivation of people being in there.
Absolutely.
So for example, is the motivation of a stage manager that they want to work on new writing and they've never done it before, or, you know, they want to program for the first time? And likewise with an actor, like, what brings them to this production and what do they want to get from it? And it's about, what can this production do other than just give you a job? How is it going to further them and kind of make them feel satisfied in the workplace?
Yeah. I'm really fascinated by that, because I know that both of you, this is kind of what you do a lot of the time. Like, you're constantly doing this process and you're going through applications and when you're putting on projects, and I'm not part of that world. Like, I'm really interested in like that, you know, in that level, like you say, it's a very difficult position to be in. So being able to kind of hear you guys and like what that's actually like, having to be the person to sort of navigate that, I guess that is tough.
I mean, from my perspective, it is like, my least favourite thing, my favourite thing to do in the whole of working in the arts industry is to send money to people. You know,
and you're very good at it.
I love it. I'm like, be paid. My least
favourite thing to do.
I love, honestly, it makes me so happy, but my least favourite thing to do is send rejections. It's horrible when it's like, I could just send everyone yes, couldn't I? I could just say yes to everyone because they could all do it. And
that's
it really
the thing. It's like you want to
to
say that. It's like but it's not you. But you also have to say you have to send this email a professional. Like it's finding the words. I guess is another thing in itself. That's so lovely when you're able to kind of take that personal approach and really want to preserve like a relationship. I think that's such a kind way of doing it, you know, because there are a lot of places that can't get back to people or it's been missed or whatever. But like you say, that person might have gone away and taken that really personally. Yeah. So when you have people that really make that effort to really get back to people and to send like a little personal message, that's such a nice thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, saying no is really hard, but it's better than leaving someone in self-doubt.
Absolutely. I really cannot stand when there's just no response at all. Yeah. You know, if you've applied for it, you send it off, you don't get anything back, and then a month or two down the line,
you see the class, you're like, okay, well, I guess I did get that.
Oh yeah,
wonderful.
I think it's incredibly rude, and I know that venues and organisations are very strapped for time.
Yeah, it's a capacity thing.
It is a capacity thing, but I still think that there is space to send a generic copy-paste email to people. And I don't like the idea of a copy-paste email, but at least they then know where they stand, you know, and that's a hill I will die on.
Yeah. Even I think some organisations that I've submitted to in the past, when you've kind of submitted yourself via email, they'll say, thank you so much for your email, because of capacity, we can't get back to you. Yeah. But if you haven't heard by this date about an audition, just put two and two together, essentially.
Yeah, and that's basic courtesy, you know, if they don't have the capacity, then absolutely, that's the other way of doing it, and I respect that, definitely.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but it's having that kind of personable approach. And, you know, when people have auditioned for me and I've had to turn them down, but then I see they're doing something, I'm like, oh, I remember them. They were really good. I want to go and see their stuff. So it's never goodbye, you know.
The relationships in this community, I think, are built through, you know, like we all know what everyone's projects, like we're aware of a lot of people's work and we're aware of each other. So, you know, when people are applying for these things, I think it's not like they go away and disappear and we never see from them again. Exactly. They go away and we see them, oh yeah, I know that person because I saw them at this, or they came to this audition.
And it's nice because then I don't know whether I just make like parasocial relationships, but then I'm like rooting for these people that I don't know personally. Yeah. But I could have in another strand of the timeline. Yeah. And I see them casting something else or they're doing their own work and I'm like, go you.
Yeah.
That's so good.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. Oh, do you know what I'd like to talk about? The first time I came across you was in KitKat. Yeah. And you've just touched on KitKat, and I'd love to talk about that experience because that was great. That was so good.
Oh, thank you. So my KitKat referring to Have a Break,
Have a KitKat, yes.
Which was my first like full length play. So I'd written a short that I actually did at Breaking Ground at Waterside, which actually been brought back. Which
yes, I've seen this.
So shout out to the team at Waterside for bringing back, because that is just an amazing opportunity. And when I write plays, I like to kind of have a big ethical question and write a play that then doesn't answer it, but at least explores it in a fun way.
I'm the same. I love that.
So Cock of the Walk, my Waterside one, was about is it actually possible to be a good person in today's society? And then Have a Break, Have a KitKat was basically about, should grief be a communal or individual thing? And I wrote it as scratch for something that we did at the RNCM back in 2019, which actually had me and Joe in, and Joe was actually in Make It as an actor. And I just remember really liking the characters, and I kind of thought there was more to the story here. Yeah. And I think also as younger people, grief isn't something that is necessarily explored on stage. And so I wrote a play about these two cousins who experience grief in a different way. So one has had a very, very recent grief and it's kind of following his like initial knee-jerk reaction, and then he does a lot of kind of shoving it under the carpet and then working out how to communicate what he needs. Yeah. And then his cousin has a grief 5 years ago, and she kind of becomes a bit of a sounding board, and then basically kind of uses that as a way to get her grief out. Yeah. And they do clash because he's trying to bury his emotions and she's trying to talk about her emotions. Things are explored, like, you know, the relationships between like your family when you're grieving, relationships with religion, with nostalgia, and it was all set in 2022, and it was kind of like punctuated by like different big things going on, like Olivia Newton-John dying, Meatloaf, the Queen, all these things, and just how the world's grief impacts our own personal grief. And just big shout out to Box of Tricks, who are absolutely amazing, because I wrote my first draft when I was on their Pen Pals project in 2020, and they were just the most amazing advocates of my work and new writing in general, and I just felt so supported with them. And I think I got to a point where I was like, I feel like I need to tear the plaster off. I need to just share it, because it just took 5 years to write, but I was like, let's kind of set it free. So we did it at 53.2 in 2023, and it was directed by Kitty Ball, who also directed Make It.
Yeah. Shout out to Kitty.
Shout out to Kitty.
There's a lot of cross-pollination, isn't there?
Oh, we all know each other. It's very incestuous. And it had me as the female cousin and Isa Levi Rich as the male cousin. And it was a really, really fun experience. And it was a really like bonding experience as well. Like me and Isa weirdly feel like cousins for life now.
Oh, cute. I love that.
But yeah, it was such a special time. And I think it was a story that really like resonated with people.
Yeah, it really, really did.
Thank you.
Yeah, from having seen it was absolutely stunning. Really enjoyed it. And do you think, I mean, the fact that it had such a journey, do you think it'll ever come back?
Who knows?
Wouldn't it watch this space?
I mean, now that you've got a hop, skip and a jump, I mean, there is the potential, isn't there, for anything, really?
Yeah, it's so weird, isn't it? Because I feel like sometimes as a writer, I was so nervous to put it out in the world. I think those kind of like imposter goblins came to the surface, and you're like, no one wants to see this story. And I think there's a little bit of like, oh, why would you bring it back? Why would anyone want to see it again? And actually, like, there are so many stories that need bringing back and being told at different ways, and the landscape is different. So who knows? But I think also I'm trying to get the jitters out about writing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like because I finished this big 2-hour play that took me ages to write, and then since then I've kind of been like, oh, I want to write again.
Yeah.
Where do I start?
Yeah. I think people are so different in that sense as well, like how prolific they are or how much sort of deep work goes into something, because I am really, really respectful of someone who can spend 5 years working on something and then have to spend time building up to create something else, because obviously that means there's a lot of concentration, there's a lot of depth of research, there's a lot of redrafting, and you know, I tend to scattergun things out, and a lot of the time they work and a lot of the time they don't, but it tends to be that the people I meet who take their time over something and then have to rebuild themselves for the next thing, it tends to hit home as soon as it's out. As soon as it's out there, it's ready. I think that's something to kind of aspire to, that you don't have to rush into something until it's ready.
Yeah, and I do think there is a balance, isn't there? Because you want to make sure that it works right for you and where you are, and making sure that everything is kind of balanced in your life, and the work doesn't have to be the only thing that you obsess over. But like equally, it's like you don't want to take yourself out of the running just because you feel a little bit shit.
I think one of the problems with like influencer culture and having to be present all the time and in the public eye in some way so people remember you, I think that can be really damaging, because like you can put out things that are half baked, you can put out things that you're not comfortable with putting out just because you
feel under pressure to deliver. But I do think there is something to be said as well for any writer, you know, when you have done a project and then maybe you've taken a bit of time. Sometimes, you know, life happens and you change as a person, and things happen to you, and then that can change kind of the stories you want to tell,
100%.
and kind of what you want to put out there. And maybe if you have put something out, you might think, oh, that was a representation of me then, and I'd be interested to revisit that and sort of see, you know, kind of how I could evolve that's in line kind of with me now. But that is something that you just don't know in advance, like you don't know. But also there is something to be said for putting work out there that, you know, you not necessarily that you think, oh my god, this is the final thing and I'm like 100% happy. Like sometimes you just have to be, you know what, I've worked on this thing, I'd like to put it out there, I'll see
Set it
kind of
free.
set it free without putting all
100%
that
same.
pressure, on yourself to have it perfect and it has to be the best thing you've ever done.
I mean, one of the great things about theatre is it can be revised and brought back. If something goes out in public as a professionally performed piece, you can see what lands, see what doesn't, see what the critics say, go back, revise it, bring it back. And that's not that the first thing wasn't right. It was right at the time. And the next version of it might be something different.
And it's whatever it is now and in this current moment and whoever you are. And that is the thing as a writer. You do, you bring so much of your experiences, but yourself to a piece, even if it isn't your direct lived experience, maybe it's someone maybe it isn't, maybe it's completely fictional, but you're still bringing yourself to it.
Definitely.
And that's,
And the thing is, it's really interesting because I find that even with producing, I'm writing in the background and that's okay, but it's interesting the producing projects I've ended up taking, such as Make It, that like you don't work on something unless you have a fascination with the story or a fascination with the themes or a fascination with the person that's writing it. And what I loved about Make It is that I think it appealed to the things that I am mulling about and thinking about creativity and motherhood and our potency and agency and what does that mean in this like weird crazy landscape. So it's interesting to see how that crosses over in not just writing but also the other aspects of my practice. What a disgusting word. What other word do I use?
You are a practitioner of a huge range of things, which is wonderful. It's so wonderful to have a polymath on to talk to about all these things. But we're getting to the point where we need to bring things to a close. So I'm just going to go back through the little list of events that we called out at the beginning, and then Bronte, we're going to have like a final word from you. So again, Natalie Patuzzo's event Bog Off Clowns is happening tonight, a double bill with Ollie Yates at the King's Arms, so check that out. We are linking everything below as well. Ellie Webster is bringing Taliesin to the Manchester Central Library on Saturday the 25th of April. That's got puppets, it's shape-shifting magic, all those wonderful things.
And then we have Ella Hickson's Boys playing at the King's Arms on the 21st of April to the 8th of May. And then on the 29th of April, there is also the comedy night, raising funds for Gaza, with all proceeds going towards life-saving essentials for displaced families. 53-2 on the 29th of April.
So check all those out. As I say, they will be linked below. And just so that you know, if you want to send anything in, if you have any listener questions, if you'd like to be on the podcast, if you have any opportunities to offer, if you're looking for anything that you want to work on, if you're looking for, maybe interning, doing something with a theatre company, anything like that, send it to mitpoddy@gmail.com. That's mitpoddy@gmail.com. You can also follow us on @mit_pod. That's @mit_pod on Instagram. Please do like and subscribe to this podcast. Do follow it. Put comments on anything that you'd like, just to kind of get us boosted up there, get us heard by more people. But it's been absolutely brilliant to have Bronte Appleby on the podcast.
It's been a pleasure to speak to you, Bronte.
It's been so lovely to chat.
And can I ask, as a kind of closing thing, what is your favourite thing about being a creative in the Manchester scene in general at the moment?
Oh, the people. The people are great. They have great ideas, they have great passion, great energy, and I think they really relish in the sense of community. So,
absolutely.
100% the people.
That's a great answer, and that's basically what we feel as well.
100%. That is a great message to end on, because this is what we stand for and why we want to create this space and to have more of you lovely people on and sharing your work and sharing your experiences with us. So thank you very much for listening.
And that said, do have a look for Hop, Skip and a Jump Theatre Company on Instagram. Is there a handle that you can drop, Bronte?
There is Hop, Skip and Jump Co.
So please follow that on Instagram.
And I also can do a cheeky plug.
Please do.
Culture Warrington, which I'm a trustee for, have their arts festival coming up soon, the Warrington Art Festival. So follow Culture Warrington for more updates on that.
Fantastic. Woo. Culture Warrington on Instagram, Fantastic. So please do look that up as well. But thank you so much, Bronte, for coming on. It's been so thrilling to have you as our first guest. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening, and please tune in again. We're going to try and make this a weekly deal, so we will be back on the 24th. Please keep an eye on all our socials, and we'll see you then.
Thanks so much.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.